Okay, let's look at our next example. The next example says, I want to find 83% of 460. I want to find 83% of 460. So I have to identify the percent, the base, and the amount. And I'm going to say 83% of 460. I need to identify the percent, the base, and the amount. And if we do this on every problem, we'll find that we have less trouble doing these problems just because it's going to automatically set up for us. So the percent, again, is the easiest thing to find. And of course, that's going to be what? That's right, 83%. Okay, 83 is going to be our percent because it says 83%. Now, what are we taking the 83% of? We're taking the 83% of 460. So 460 must be our base. 460 is going to be our base. We're taking the percent of 460. So 460 is the base. Whatever we're taking the percent of is going to be our base. And notice again, the 460 is after the word of. 460 is after the word of. Now the amount, we have to identify what the amount is. Well, I'm not given anything else, and they're asking us to find something, so that must mean the amount is going to be our x. The amount is going to be our x, or our unknown. That's what we're going to be looking for. So again, find 83% of 460. The percent is 83, fairly obvious. The base is what we're taking the percent of, and we're taking the percent of 460. So that's our base, which says the amount must be our unknown since we have nothing else. Let's look at a third example. 18% of what number is 90? 18% of what number is 90? So we need to identify the percent, the base, and the amount. Again, the percent is fairly obvious. The percent must be 18. So the percent is 18. Of what number is 90? So we're taking 18% of a number, and that's what we're looking for. 18% of something is 90. So this must be our base, and if we don't know what that is, that must mean the base is our x. What the unknown, wherever the what is usually going to be our unknown. The what is usually what number is our unknown. So that's going to be the unknown this time. That leaves the 90 as our amount. 18% of what number is 90? 90 is what the percent is. 90 is the amount. 18 is the percent. The unknown is the base. And 90 is the amount. All right, let's look at our next example. Number 4 says, what is 16% of 380? What is 16% of 380? Notice that we can identify these in different ways. We can write the same question a lot of different ways. Okay, what is 16% of 380? So we're going to find the percent, the amount, and the base. Okay, the percent is, again, fairly obvious. It's the 16. The base, I want to do base and amount. The base is what I'm taking the percent of, and I'm taking the percent of 380. So 380 must be my base. And the amount then is what I'm looking for. It's usually by itself, and that's what I'm looking for, so it must be x. So 16% of 380, percent is 16, the base is 380, the amount is x. Okay, let's look at our next example. And it says, what percent of 3,500 is 105? Okay, what percent of 3,500 is 105? Again, I want my percent, my base, and my amount. Okay, to find my percent is usually obvious. Well, there isn't a percent given. It doesn't say 15% or 82% or 15%. It says what percent? So that must mean our percent is our unknown this time. Since we're looking for what percent, it means our percent must be the unknown. Now, what would we be taking the percent of? It says what percent of 3,500. So what are we taking the percent of? We're taking the percent of 3,500. So that's what our base is. What would take the percent of is the base, and notice that's usually after the word of. So our base is 3,500, which leaves our amount to be what? Okay, it leaves our amount to be 105, because that's what the percentage of 3,500 is going to be. Okay, percent is our unknown this time. The base was 3,500. The amount is 105. Okay, let's look at our last example. Okay, the last example says that 19 is what percent of 95? 19 is what percent of 95? Excuse me, I'm going to get this situated here. Okay, we're looking for percent, the base, and the amount. Again, looking for this to find the percent. Again, there's no percent. We're looking for what percent. So that again means the percent must be our unknown. Now, what would we be taking the percent of? We'd be taking the percent of 95, which tells me 95 must be my base. The amount then is what I haven't used, so that must be our 19. 19 is what percent of 95? Percent, again, usually the easiest one to identify. Percent, usually the easiest one to identify. Okay, if you have any questions, you need to get a lab tutor or instructor to help you with this. Our next step is practice problems. Okay, here's our practice problems. What I want you to do is to identify the amount, the base, and the percent. Okay, I want you to identify the amount, the base, and the percent. Okay, the first example I want you to try is 75% of 660 is 495. Again, remember, I don't want you to do anything except to identify the amount, the base, and the percent. Okay, the first one again is 75% of 660 is 495. The second example, what is 42% of 400? What is 42% of 400? That's practice problem number 2. What is 42% of 400? The third example, or the third practice problem, is 38% of what is 2,280? 38% of what is 2,280? That's the third problem. 38% of what is 2,280? Number 4, the fourth practice problem is 50 is what percent of 250? 50 is what percent of 250? Okay, I'm looking for the amount, the base, and the percent. 50 is what percent of 250? Now remember, if there's an unknown, whatever the unknown is, we're going to let X represent it. Okay, whatever the unknown is, we're going to let X represent it. Okay, stop the tape, do these problems, and then come back and check and see how you... Here's the problems, the answers to the practice problems. Number 1, the percent was 75. The base was 660, and the amount was 495. On the first one again, the percent was 75, the base was 660, the amount was 495. On the second practice problem, the percent was 42, the base was 400, the amount was our unknown X. Again, number 2, the percent was 42, the base was 400, the amount was our unknown X. Number 3, the percent was 38, the base was our unknown X, and our amount was 2,280. Again, number 3, the percent was 38. The base was the unknown x, and the amount was 2,280. The fourth practice problem, the percent was the unknown x, the base was 250, and the amount was 50. Again, the answer to the fourth problem was the percent was our unknown x, the base was 250, and the amount was 50. If you had any problems with these, then you need to go out and find a math tutor or instructor to get some help on these.